That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Sitting in the crowd smoking big cigars. I hope you're ready for what's coming now. I'm the one, I'm the lady that would bring it down. There's a joint on the corner where the big boys play, where the whiskey's running like the river, but they all never come for the booze and bass. I'm the one, I'm the lady that'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place.
From the beginning. That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place.
What is going on, everybody? How are you doing? Welcome in. I don't really go live on this page often ever. Usually go live on my other page, the Showroom Collectibles page. But thank you guys so much for joining in to this epic, what would you call it, epic proportions? Because we also have Bill in the house.
Hey, what's up?
Epic proportion of this awesome live stream premiere of the documentary. The documentary, full disclosure, has already been out. It came out a couple weeks ago, but not on Facebook. What is up, Clayton? How are you doing, brother? How are you doing? I know we have a few people in the house. We've got Jesse, or Namor, I believe. That is you on YouTube. And we got Bruce, I think, was in the house too. Welcome. Thank you so much. We are going to get started momentarily on this. I'm trying this extravaganza. What would you call it?
Premiere, I guess.
Premiere? It's like a half a premiere because it's already been out.
Oh, that hurts.
Ooh, half premiere. He saw it. He watched it. We got Metal Mouth Phil in the house. Let's go. Let's do. I should have a close-up button nowadays. The mouth cam. That'd be funny.
Yes, adult braces.
Yes, Phil has got the adult braces. The braces. As of what? A couple days ago.
Thursday.
Wow, yeah, a couple days ago. But that's not what we're talking about today. We are talking about the collector's... Oh, no. That's the other thing we're going to be talking about. The Collector's Mind is the big project, the next installment of what this documentary, The Rise and Fall of a Collector, stemmed from, that you guys are about to see here live on Facebook and YouTube, actually. I am streaming this on YouTube as well. Last day of vacation, just chilling like a villain, says Clayton. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for spending your time, or your vacation time, with us tonight, because you are about to witness something pretty cool if you haven't seen it already. But what makes it special than last time, you're getting a Q&A afterwards. Hello hangout, talking about behind the scenes making it, the reasons why, and then a little sneak peek of what's coming next, the main project. So that is coming very soon. Phil, the fine folks here on this page don't know who you are. Why don't you introduce yourself? Yeah.
Hello, I'm Lego Jill, Lego Phil, or Lego Jit sometimes.
Lego Jit sometimes.
Yeah, I was help Chris with Toy Kings a lot. So if you ever watched the Toy Kings channel, I'm on there a lot doing the badass minifigures. It's pretty much it. I don't know.
That's it?
Yeah,
That's
Lego enthusiast, stop motion enthusiast. I don't know.
Yeah.
Going on.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because this is my personal page where I do most of my
Personal stuff.
filmmaking stuff. Not really
right on.
toy related. I do kind of bridge it a little bit. And you guys are also getting a sneak peek at the Halloween special set. Look at that.
Ooh.
Look at that. Because I do have a special series coming. Not just one episode, not two, not even three. Potentially just 4, but maybe a 5th. There could be a 5th. Well, I have 4 for sure. I have those, half of them already shot. I'm still working on a 5th one. It might not be one. It might just be 4 episodes in a Halloween special. So that's coming, the week of Halloween. Right? Yeah, week of Halloween. So you got that to look forward to. And there's the set that I built for it. Just a little funness. So how about should we stop talking? And now I'm going to start talking like Phil.
I don't sound like that.
Talks like this. I have to. I'm sorry, man. So, I brought it just for the occasion. Popcorn. So grab your popcorn. Ooh.
How old is that? Does sound
Sit
still?
back.
I can hear how still it sounds when you're chewing.
Hey, I have to go see Back to the Future in theaters. The first movie back
so still
since March, and so we got popcorn. And it's spooky. It's just pretty stale.
Yeah, I can hear it when you're.
It's not even. Yeah, it's so good though. So why don't you guys make some fresh popcorn and sit back and enjoy this documentary. So enough talking. How about we get into it, huh?
All right, let's start the show.
All right, I should have a timer for it, but I didn't think that far ahead. So, all right, guys, enjoy. Collectors, you may know someone that collects, or maybe you're one yourself. The definition of collecting is something that really can't be summed up in just a few words. There's a lot of layers to collecting, and a lot of the time your eyes fool you. There's a lot of layers your eyes just can't see. Collecting differs from one person to the next. Some may collect to remember a special someone. Others collect for an investment. In 2015, I met a unique individual that I know we can learn a lot from. But let me explain a couple things first. In 2014, I opened a business that dealt in toys and collectibles. And it is here where I met some of the most interesting and fascinating people, as well as hearing the most outrageous stories. This is where I met Jose Baez, the man I'm going to talk about today. This is the rise and fall of the collector. I first introduced the world to Jose on my original internet web series called Toy Kings back in 2016. I did the show with my friend Phil, and later my cousin Jake would join in, with a 6-episode run and special lost episode that aired in 2019. This show was about individuals and their collecting habits from normal to extreme. And I would say Jose was closer to the extreme side of things, but not in the way you would think. He didn't have an absurd amount of things. I would even go as far as saying that he had a pretty modest collection, unlike other collections we've seen. Here's a short recap of where we left off with Jose. On this week's episode of the Toy Kings, we sat down with one of my longtime loyal customers, Jose.
He's a true New Yorker.
Yeah, he is old school. Where do you get doubles?
Yes, I always get doubles. You always get multiple, that way you can make money.
But you never sell it.
But I told my daughter that when I croak, anything that she has, the comic books, sells, has to go to all 4 of my kids.
The last time that we spoke to him, he had said that he possibly is getting evicted. Are you expecting to be getting out of here anytime soon?
I'm supposed to pay my rent, I haven't been able, so.
Well, unfortunately, he did get evicted. He went missing for a while, and I tried tracking him down, contacting family members, but apparently he did show up. He walked into my store.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so he's alive. He walked into a bar, which he apparently hadn't been to a bar in forever because he didn't have any money. And he saw a flyer. Someone had posted looking for this guy. And he found 2 or more flyers that around town that someone had hung up in the spots where he would go. And to try and find him, I offered him, buy some more of his stuff. I gave him some money to help him out. Because I paid half of what things are worth. I give him a little bit more just to try and help him. People won't sell it.
Ever the time I met here, you've been always considered a friend.
All right, I appreciate that.
Yes, and I do annoy you. Yeah.
Well, yes, you do.
Yeah, but you do me too. Lost my job. I'll deal with what I have to. I'll sleep where I have to. My truck. Trying to get work, you know. This is one thing I noticed. That most people say, "Well, you got comic books, just sell them." And I'm like, it ain't gonna be that easy. But I have a tendency to constantly fight that, you know. I'll say, okay, fine, let's see what else I can do, you know. If it wasn't for comics, I probably would have been dead when I was younger. I already lost one collection. It's not easy, big guy. It's not. I was able to pay the storage unit with all my stuff. Yeah. It wasn't easy. It wasn't. I already lost one collection that was worth so much money. That collection I lost because I did stuff that I shouldn't, and I had to pay for it. This is the second collection that I got. And now I got into a situation that I can't get out. Once I got evicted, so the first thing I did, because it had all my pills and then my medication, you know, slept in my truck. Next morning, I went over there and said, listen, you guys got all my medication in there. You guys need to let me get in there and get my stuff out. The young girl there who liked me, you can go into your apartment, get everything. You got like 2-3 days to get it out.
So you got your like comic books and action figure and stuff out before?
Yeah. Oh, that's the first thing I did. I had the money to put it in storage.
So after the apartment and you were living in your truck, you found a place to live?
No, I lived in my truck. Because, you know what? All I need to do is buy a canopy. And I can sleep in the truck, the back or the front. I mean, the only problem with my truck was that my feet are longer than the truck. Just to deal with my life, I would buy some beer. And I saw Job Connection, working and everything. Then my nephew showed up, and I was living with him in his garage. Him and his wife did take care of me.
So if you are pretty hurt up, I know you say you're trying to hang on to the comic books for your kids.
I am.
But maybe there's a time where you're just going to have to sell it.
That collection there for my kids is something that took me a long time to get it for them.
So your plans are eventually to go back to New York?
Oh, yeah. And I'm bringing your ass too. Excuse my language, boys. Or girls.
What were your thoughts about your episode that we put out on you, the first one? Phil and I were out there.
No, it was kind of cool.
Yeah?
Except for the orange shirt. Yeah. I was shocked that people saw it.
Hey, what's that supposed to mean?
No, it was just that people say, hey, I saw you on Facebook. Yeah. And I'm like, did I do something on Facebook that I should? So, yeah, it was cool. One thing that I know is that I learn from everything I do. I do whatever I have to. It's the only thing I got.
All right, well, thanks for sitting down and giving us a recap of what's been going on.
Yeah.
People worried about you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I do appreciate it, dude.
We love going out to see your guys' collections and stuff. But also, you know, there are things that it opens our eyes, and it opens a lot of the viewers, we think, like to see how deep this can go. And it's not that you should stop collecting or anything, but, you know, sometimes, you know, reevaluate it.
People find these connections to inanimate objects on a level that I can't begin to explain. Over the years, I have witnessed countless individuals consume their lives by seeking out and buying objects, and even hoarding these objects on an extreme level. I have seen grown adults arguing over a child's toy, ranging from how to display it to what paint application is better. And to most people, this could be seen as strange. But to the average collector, this is just a normal day. When you hear about people that have a collection of something, it's usually being shown off in a fun way, like on TV, which is awesome. But I mean, after all, these are just toys or comic books or whatever. It should be fun. It's a hobby, and hobbies are supposed to be enjoyable. But things are not always as they seem. And to a lot of collectors, this is their life. And it's not being looked at as a possible real issue, or maybe for some, even becoming disconnected from reality. Now, is Jose this way? In 2017, myself and Phil went out to Jose's storage unit. I got a call from him that he was moving back to New York City and was only allowed to take 2 small boxes with him, and that he had to sell everything else when he wanted me to come out and buy it. I don't know the whole story, but what I do know is that some of his family was helping him by paying for his storage unit because he didn't have a job. And they were also helping pay for him to move to New York City, which he was leaving the following day. So we decided to bring a camera because it was going to be the last time we would see him for a while, or even possibly forever, and we wanted to put it on our show. But when we got there, we quickly knew that this footage was probably not going to see the light of day. I'm about to show you this because I think there's a lesson here, and definitely some good can be taken away from it. All right, we got Phil. What's up?
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Remember that time we went to Jose's storage locker? He was what, episode 3? I think it was. But he was actually episode 1 for us because he was the first episode we ever filmed. That was back in 2015, I think it was. He's been down on his luck. He's been evicted from his apartment. He's back out on the street. But he gave me a call yesterday and told me that he is actually moving back to New York. He wanted me to come to his storage unit and buy a bunch of his stuff. And as you know, it must be really hard for him because he is not a one to sell his items. He wants to give his stuff to his kids. We're gonna go and check out what he's got, and hopefully I can help him out a bit. We'll be meeting Jason. He is gonna probably buy a couple things. He didn't want to step on my toes and come buy stuff out from underneath me, but I told him, you know what, dude, it's all good. I'd rather it go to you. I think he's already there. We'll meet him, and we'll see if he even wants to be on camera. But let's check it out, guys.
I got that song stuck in my head. What's that? Panic at the Disco? We're going down swinging. Hey, who bite the bullet? Go around chocolates, took it and cook it. Who get it like who get?
What was your first thoughts when we rolled up there?
I noticed that beer is the first thing I noticed. Might have been a little bit intoxicated. Maybe he spilled some beer on himself in the process. Like,
do you remember what time it was?
It might have been noon.
We could probably check the timestamp on the recording because I'm pretty sure it was like 11.
It's hard to say. I don't remember. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn on the microphone for the first part where we first got there. That was my fault.
Okay, we got a lot of B-roll in.
Alright. Famous monster steak.
That's right, baby. Did you get it? How much you gonna pay?
Those aren't worth anything, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, you're full of shit. What do you think? It's one of a kind. There's another one.
Kind of hard to make. There was like no cohesive conversation, I don't think. It was hard to get responses out of him. He wasn't making any sense. Very much sense. It was kind of inaudible, a lot of what he was saying.
What's the other guy that, John or something like that?
My cousin?
No. The last time I was at your place, that other guy was there. What was his name?
No idea.
Yeah, that's because you're just weird.
Maybe Jordan?
I think it is.
Oh, okay, so.
When we left out, he actually drove by, said, hey, I'll, get you, over there. I said, nah, I'll take a walk and everything. And then I called him. He was in a convention.
That was me.
That was this guy.
That's you?
Yeah. That was
Oh,
me, dude.
shit. That's you? Shit, forget about it, man. I'm done.
Forget about it.
You're not gonna get the one that I know that's worth money. And remember, it's like a lot of money.
This was a very weird day, to say the least. He was just not really that coherent. He didn't know really what was happening. It made things a lot more difficult. So just being there, it just was, man, that's why I didn't release any of this footage. It was just a sad day. It was strange and sad, and it just questioned everything. Like, what am I doing? Like, should I even be recording this?
Yeah.
So what else are you going to go through here?
It depends. I gotta get, because if I don't show up there too early on the time, they won't let me go sleep in the bedroom, you know? I mean, the garage and shit. So yeah.
I asked him what else he had that he wanted to sell.
Tell me, because eventually I gotta go get the fuck out of here. Excuse my language. Stop cursing! So
might as well go through all the figures and figure out what you want to sell.
Well, you can take that shit.
What time you gotta be down there, Jose?
Fuck that shit. Go ahead, get what you want, man. But this you're not getting, bro. Actually, you know what? There's no way that I'm gonna be able to take that to New York anyways.
Do you remember anything that may have happened off camera?
I mean, he kept on giving me things and then kind of like taking them back, or like not remembering maybe that he gave them to me like 20 minutes prior. Like, that's kind of confusing. I think he was just in a hard spot and just really needed money.
You just gave me that box.
Yeah, fuck you.
You just said you wanted to sell that box.
Yeah, the box. Not like this, man.
Okay. He kept going back and forth with what he wanted to sell, and I get that. I mean, this is your prized stuff, and you're being forced to sell it when you don't even want to. It was just a very awkward position that I had to be in. And you may not even know, I don't own the store anymore. I sold it, and part of the reason of selling it was I kept getting put in those positions, and I'm just not like, I'm not a shark. I don't go in there and swoop in on when people are down and just like try to rip them off for my personal gain. And it's just, if you want to be successful as a buy-sell trade business or of any kind, you kind of have to throw out some morals, most of them, and try to get things for as low as you possibly can, and then sell it for as high as you possibly can. And I'm not that way, you know. I'm fair as I can. If I didn't buy any of this stuff, this was just going to be sold off to somebody else, probably going to undercut everything, or worse, it probably would have just ended up in the trash. And I know a lot of his other personal stuff did end up in the trash. His family told me they threw it away. I said at the beginning, he did get evicted from his apartment. He was homeless. He was living in his truck that he had, and his stuff was in his truck originally, and some family members helped him out and got him a storage unit. And then once he got his storage unit, he was paying for the storage unit, but he would find odd jobs, and all of his money that he would make would go to pay for that, and he would just sleep in his truck. It was just this vicious cycle to keep a habit going. And at that point, it's just a burden. You know, if you're collecting something where it's controlling your life, there's an issue there. There's something that should be addressed.
But seriously, if you guys ever want to come to New York, just come.
Yeah,
Touch base with me.
for sure. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Never been to New York.
Well, it's a whole different world. Don't worry about doing that.
No, I don't. I mean, no, honestly, dude, you're a collector, and it's like it's insulting.
I am a collector, and I actually lost a lot already.
I know, dude, but
Third time, so.
yeah, but the thing is that anything that we could offer realistically, it's fucking insulting. But I mean, honestly, dude, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to piss you off by telling you that
You're not
your
gonna
comics
piss
are
me
worth
off.
nothing. I mean, Jose, if I go through any of these and I find a key book that's worth a lot of money, I know I will get a hold of you. That's the rules.
No, don't worry about it.
No, that's not how I work, man.
It's just never good when you're in that position, especially if he spends so much time and effort and then acquiring everything and just having to get rid of it based off circumstance.
I don't know if you know this, but all that stuff that was left ended up just at my store anyway, because his family basically told him he couldn't keep like any of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but I mean, that's a better place for it than just whatever the storage place would have done.
Yeah. He may have gotten like one box of stuff,
Oh, that's too bad. I didn't know that.
The stuff that I ended up with, a lot of it was his family, like child's, like birthday cards and drawings and stuff that he made him, but he prioritized his comic books and action figures over that.
Oh, well, I did not know that. I mean,
Like, I'm not too surprised when I saw it. It was just a little like disappointing, you know, because he did pride himself on wanting to get all these comic books and action figures and collectibles and stuff to his kids. However, in the end, he kind of chose the comics and action figures and collectibles, I mean, over his kids. In a way, he didn't bother to keep any of his memories, his family photos and drawings and things that he had gotten that a normal family would have. So it was kind of a sad day all around. Do you think that that's a problem, or that's just okay?
I mean, I don't see that as a surprise. Actually, that's like the kind of collector he was. Like, so that no, it's kind of funny. I think. I mean, I don't know. I don't have children, so maybe it's different for me. But I mean, it's not surprising that something like that would get prioritized below comics to a collector. No.
Exactly. Videotape me sitting there.
that's right. You know that shit. Chris, I love you, man. I do. I take stuff, man, okay? God, cámate, okay? I'll see you in the morning, right?
He leaves for New York tomorrow, the next day, and he's not all there right now, and he thinks that we're going to see him tomorrow. But he just wasn't making any sense at all, and it probably was due to the fact that, I mean, he was drunk. He'd been drinking. Who knows when he started, but this was 8 a.m. in the morning when we were doing this. Maybe that has something to do with it.
You want showing this stuff?
What?
I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm out of here, bro.
All right, well, in case we don't see you again.
No, I'll see you tomorrow, man.
Okay. So, yeah, I bought a bunch of stuff from him, gave him quite a bit of money. I wanted to help him out. I felt really bad for him, and paid a little bit more than I probably should have. But, again, I wanted to help him out. I don't remember how much I ended up giving, but it was about 2 carloads. One of the carloads was just comic books, and the second carload was just random boxes of action figures. But what happened next was kind of interesting. I don't really know all the details of the reasoning that he had to get out of there and move to New York, but so the family members that were helping him having to deal with all the leftover stuff that he didn't take. So all that stuff ended up at my store. They were just going to drop this stuff off at the store and just say, here, take it. We're done with it. We had to clear out that storage unit, just have it. But I'm not that way. I asked them, gotta give you something for it. And they said, we're back a few months on payments for that storage unit. If you could just give us that at least, that'd be awesome. So that's what I did. But what I found inside the stuff, one of the boxes that was supposed to be actually thrown in the trash because a lot of his leftover things, personal items, they just threw away, and like the comic book stuff and action figures type things were taken to my store. But one of the boxes was some personal stuff that they had missed. So when I opened the box, things fell out. All these papers were just all over the floor, and as I was picking things up, I noticed a lot of the stuff was actually like letters and stuff that his kids had written to him, and like birthday cards and family photos. It was kind of interesting feeling like he prioritizes his comic books and action figures over that type of thing. And I don't know, it's kind of left a weird taste in my mouth. And as I was packing it all up, I had found some interesting things about his past that I won't share here, but he had a very shady past when he was a little bit younger and got himself in trouble with the law, and he did his time, and now he was out. And I've always felt that there was something about him that was different than everybody else, that he was trying to make up for something that he had done, or he was just trying to find redemption. And after knowing him and seeing that, it made a little more sense as to who he was. And so it just kind of put some puzzle pieces together, because I've known this guy for 5 years at this point. He always treated me well. I never had any problems with him. I mean, he was a pain in the butt when he would come into my store. He was very loud and obnoxious, and customers didn't really appreciate him that much. But he was a good dude. We'll have to make a trip down there or over there
Seriously,
at some point.
I'm not seriously. Just
check up on you.
keep on with me, yeah.
Because I guarantee you, man, I'll show you stuff in New York that you might not want to come back, especially with the girls. Summer, forget about it.
All right, we'll see you later, Jose.
All right, you got it, man.
I wanted to give you a call here and ask you a couple questions, but since you were kind of a part of that, I really wanted to get your thought of what happened that day exactly, and this kind of what was going through your brain a little bit.
That day, the thing was I'd met Jose at the shop a couple of times, and you had talked a couple of times about how he was a bit much for some customers, and he never bothered me, if that's the word you can use. I just always thought he was like super gregarious and just turned up to 11. I kind of thought that was his natural volume of life, right? That's who he was, you know. And I always liked him at the shop, especially because there was zero filter on the guy.
Yeah.
He was who he was, and I just found that refreshing and frankly kind of wonderful that somebody could be that just, this is who I am, take it or leave it. So I was always kind of impressed with that. The actual day is weird because I rewatched the footage of that day that you'd sent. And I remember it was so awkward. And he was about 9 sheets to the wind at about 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was instantly uncomfortable with that because, you know, we were negotiating to buy things with somebody who I wasn't entirely sure was cogent enough to be making those decisions.
Right.
Why are we here? What's happening? Yeah, it was all around really odd. I think this is tying in with you talking about him having the beer all over the floor and he didn't care. He was setting his stuff in the beer.
Yeah, he was.
It's like he had this stuff that actually did have a value to it. And he was not treating it with any level of respect at all. He kept moving it and throwing it around on other boxes. And you remember I kept grabbing it and moving it to other places to try and keep it safe because he was so destructive in what he was doing that day. He was throwing boxes around. He was chucking toys around. He'd pull out a comic book and he would tell you, this is worth $50. And he would fling it onto the ground, like frisbee it. And so I was just trying to keep the stuff away from him. He put it in his mouth and was biting it to hold on to it while he was shuffling through other stuff. And I remember just looking at it going, this is unreal. It was a real look into his mind.
I kind of don't know what to think. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't know what you're showing me. So
Right here. This part right here.
Good seeing you guys.
yeah. All right. I'll see you, man.
Those were the last moments. The last thing you ever said or even saw of Jose.
Oh, I know.
That was it.
I mean, yeah, that was the last time we saw him before he left, and I haven't really heard much or talked to him much after since. So.
Did you give him a hug? What was it, a half hug or?
It was, I think, a handshake and a hug. Yeah. I told him farewells, pretty much.
As I'm editing this footage, it's kind of eerie a little bit because for me, this was the last time I ever saw him, this was probably the last footage of him to ever exist because he passed away not too long after this.
I know we never really talked about it either. You just mentioned it, and I didn't know what to think. It's just it's sad and unfortunate, and it's.
Of all the people we had on our show, it was a little interesting that we kept focusing on this guy.
It's just something weird. He was just so interesting. I had a baseball bat when we first met him. I was like, I don't know. And then
I just thought it was an interesting thing. We were probably the last ones to really document anything. And it was unfortunately a weird experience. I've always felt like he was a man on redemption because he had a very shady past, and I learned about it when I got that stuff from him.
Yeah.
And I found out a lot of what he had done.
I don't hold people's past against them, especially if it happens before I met them. I like to give people a clean slate.
It's just that's what I was saying. Ever since I've known him, and now knowing some of the stuff that he had done, it's he was been a man on redemption, trying to make up for everything and be just a nice, respectful guy.
Po Buddy's nerfing.
What do you think about him? The way he prioritized things.
Okay, we've all watched the show Hoarders. So really, it wasn't surprising how he would prioritize things. Let's not ever forget the day when we were doing that and he was talking about taking 2 short boxes of comic books with him to New York on an airplane instead of clothing. Remember? He got 2 carry-ons or 2 check bags, and he wanted to take 2 short boxes of comic books with him. That's what he wanted to take.
Just the clothes on his back and his comic books.
It was so strange. It just seemed to me like this is where you guys could all end up if you're not real careful.
Do you believe or do you think that Jose has some sort of illness, but that's just hiding behind the fact that he was trying to give his collection to his kids, but he's really just a collector himself?
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, speak no ill of the dead, but there's also a level of, you're not going to get through this episode without somebody being a little bit of a jerk, so I'll go ahead and do it. I've got nothing to lose. That stuff was never going to go to his kids, ever. If his point and goal was to give that money to his kids, he would have sold it all and put it in a CD, or sold it all and bought stuff that actually had some chance of being worth something someday. But no, that stuff was never going to get sold to his kids. That was the fiction he was telling himself to allow him to keep hoarding that stuff to the detriment of everything else. He was sleeping in his truck, right?
Yes.
With the storage unit full of useless toys. And he was able to tell himself that was okay because I'm doing this to give all these to my kids later.
He's like coming up with his own justification for his collecting habit.
We can really go to the tail end of that, and we know the stuff that he abandoned in his storage unit, and it was the stuff that was personal memories from his children to him. And he said, in his mind, he had to say, I don't want that stuff. I want these useless Todd McFarlane 1990s comic books.
People get consumed and without even realizing what's happening. And so I'm hoping with this project that I'm doing now is like, it can wake up their eyes a little bit to where maybe they see that they have something, like they got a problem, or they're like, hey, I'm actually doing okay. This isn't something that's bad. And there's no like real right or wrong answer to what people decide what's worth to them. However, there may come a point where if you're putting value on something over human life, essentially, that could potentially cross a line, and maybe you should, reevaluate a couple of things.
Because my thing is always with all this stuff around me, I don't care about it. If it starts burning up, I'm going to grab my wife and then my cats and then my dog, and this stuff can burn. I don't care. But you got some of these guys I really genuinely feel if the house caught on fire, they'd leave their kids and they'd grab their Star Wars Boba Fett. I don't think that this collecting thing is very healthy.
No.
I just don't think it is. And I think it's not, because I look at guys like Jose, and I just think that and it's sad that he's passed away.
Yeah.
Because he was, whatever problems he'd had earlier in his life, you got to admit he was a genuine guy. I just think there's so much other stuff he could have devoted his life and time and money to. He says in front of books, but I know it's just, can't talk about hypocrisy, but I'm just not sure that this whole collecting thing is healthy. I think it puts all your internal energy on external items. But then you got to switch that around. You can look at somebody like Jose, who's putting his time, energy, and emotional effort into doing everything he can to keep that stuff. I think all of us collectors, me included with my books, I think we're all missing out on some serious other amazing life stuff. We're not all going to end up like Jose. I don't know. I'm not sure we should be doing this.
Why do you think people collect then?
You collect to fill a void. I know that's why I do it. To me, I do this because of a mental illness. I don't share this with everybody, but I'll just share it with the entire world because I don't care, and it might help your thing. I have post-traumatic stress disorder from service in the military, and I know that I collect because of that mental disorder. I don't have to interact with the world. I can come in here and I can close off. And I think that's what people do. I think you surround your entire life with Gundams, and that's your life. You don't have to deal with the rest of the world because you can come back to your Gundams and not process the emotions that are going through your mind. You can close it off. You can stop. Or I have all 93 original Star Wars action figures, all on card, AFA 9.0. Aren't I cool? No, you're not. You're a guy who has a bunch of toys. You're not cool. You didn't cure cancer. You didn't do anything with your life. And again, that's harsh. It's horrible to say. It's mean. It's judgmental. But come on. I mean, really? You know, what's that word? It doesn't last. Okay? I would much rather have never had any of this stuff and saved all that money and been able to go to the South Pole. Because guess what? When I'm on my deathbed, or close to it, I'm not going to look back on my life and remember when I got an AFA graded jawwall. You know, I'm going to look back on that time that I climbed Mount St. Helens and, oh my gosh, wasn't that an amazing day? Or the time I went out on the ocean and watched a whale.
So I had a really close friend of mine recently, guy I looked up to, he was a mentor, really, end our entire relationship based off of something that was materialistic. And so it's interesting to hear and like get other people's perspectives on what you just said. Like, it doesn't matter in the end. And that's a prime example of what I tell people too. Like, you can have $1 billion in the bank, you could have 14 cars, yachts, skyscrapers, whatever. It literally means absolutely nothing when you're dying on your bed and there's not a single person standing next to you.
When there's nobody there.
You're not going to care about what you have. There's nobody here to hold my hand while I go.
Chris, that's it. I agree with you completely. And I think that's what my giant rant that meant nothing at the end meant, is that I think this collecting thing, you're getting this sense of accomplishment from stuff that isn't, you know what I mean? You're creating a sense of accomplishment from buying something instead of building a human relationship or shoring up a human relationship, right? To have that person there when you're ready to kick out.
Yeah.
Or to have someone care about you when you're gone.
I'm trying to do my best not to make fun of or judge anybody and anything that I like make or produce film-wise. I just want to document incidences and tell stories of people's lives, good and bad. And you kind of have to walk that line to be able to share a good story. You kind of have to walk that line. It's very fine, and I try not to cross it. So hopefully I didn't cross it in making this this video, because it's easily done. I did push it a little bit, but I really wanted to show who he is. This is who he was. But I don't want to come across as somebody that I'm trying to make fun of him or judge him on his life decisions or whatnot. But there's a lot of things that you can learn from seeing other people at their, honestly, probably their worst. I'm not saying this is Jose's worst, but if you see somebody that is gone through a lot of bad things, there's something that you can learn from it. And I think Jose is a good example of some decisions that, can be made, small or large. That's really up to your discretion. But I know for me, it makes me really appreciate some of the things that I had done and realize, maybe it wasn't so bad. And it makes me feel good about the stuff I collect, that I'm not consumed with it where it controls my life. And then unfortunately with Jose, it's kind of an obsession, and this does control his life. This is really what dictates it.
The day that we did all that stuff, this is the page that I bought from him, and I will never sell this. This was Jose's, and he kept it for 40 years, probably 30 years.
Yeah.
It made it through all that with him. And I also keep it, there's another reason I keep this around, very prominently displayed on the walls. It's because it reminds me that none of this stuff is very important, and I don't ever want to end up like Jose.
Yeah.
And that in a pinch, I will sell all of this stuff. If I have to, there is nothing in this house that I will not get rid of to help my family, friends, whatever I need to do.
So you said earlier that your Spider-Man saved your life.
Yes, it
What
did.
happened with that?
What I got from it as a young kid, I got that, you help. You try to help people you can. You be polite to people, It did save my life. It did. I could have turned into, kind of did that anyway. So I could have turned into an ugly individual, But Spider-Man, our team up, they gave me the energy to deal with a lot of the bullshit, Ever since, it actually helped me a lot. It also kind of showed me what people should do, not what they want to do.
Making this project has definitely been a difficult one on a few levels. Just the thought of not really knowing at the time that it was going to be the last time I would see or even talk to Jose. I mean, yeah, he was kind of a pain. Like, he would come into my store and he would just be the rowdiest person. And I know other customers probably didn't appreciate it too much, but people like that are usually the people that you want to stick around. They make life more interesting and definitely more enjoyable. It just goes to show that life's short and you should appreciate the people around you and prioritize things that really matter, whatever it may be. Jose, you are definitely going to be missed. I hope that by sharing just a little bit of your story with the world, that it inspires someone and maybe even helps them. Thank you so much for the memories. I'm definitely not going to forget about you, buddy.
I wish I had a beer. I would pour it out on your rug.
It's one for Jose.
Yeah.
Pour one out for Jose. So, like I've been saying multiple times already in this video, I'll say it one last time. I'm really hoping to achieve some sort of goal of people to really look within themselves, but also bring a lot more awareness of what people don't normally see or hear about, because you see stuff on TV, you hear, stuff on the radio or wherever. I mean, radio, more like podcasts nowadays, about toys and collectibles or just objects, things that people collect, and it's always fun and great, and we always be like, that's amazing, let's go check it out, or encourage it when maybe there's actually a real issue. And so I'm going to be making this a lot bigger project, and this is kind of the stepping stone to bring awareness to this documentary that I'm going to be working on next, where it's about people's collections, but not really. It's really focused on the individual and getting inside their head, and I'm calling it the collector's mind, and just getting in there, asking them why, hearing their thoughts.
It's a good stepping stone too, because this is an extreme example of someone who was willing to sacrifice all of his interactions and physical remembrances of his own family for some stuff that had no intrinsic value whatsoever.
Yeah.
But was more important to him than it was to any other living human being on the planet.
Jose'd be proud.
We made it. We saw the city.
We did. We made it here. We made it to New York finally. Too bad Jose's not here to share with us. It's Jose's birthday today.
Oh, I did not know.
We're here. We're leaving, but we're still kind of here on his birthday. Isn't that crazy?
That's like, man, you can't make that crap up. But I did not know that.
It's crazy. And 5 years ago, last week, we shot his first episode.
That was 5 years ago?
Yeah. Like, we were here during all of this. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I guess stars are aligned.
It's crazy. A good friend of mine once said, "Do what you should do, not what you want to do." Well, there it is. What you guys think? I hope we got a lot of comments. I was in there chatting with you guys. Thank you so much for watching it. Phil is still here.
I don't think Fresco.
If that's the Boys reference, he hasn't seen the Boys, so he wouldn't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But what'd you guys think? I know I was a little bit worried. I know I said it in the project, and a couple people mentioned it a little bit. Thought I did a really good job of telling his story, and that's great because I was really, really worried about like sharing that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? So I don't even know. Like I don't know. I've never really done deep stuff. I guess if that's the right word.
Kind of serious.
Like a more serious, like more like heartfelt thing. So it was kind of a challenge. Thank you, Stacy. I really appreciate the feedback on that. So yeah, it was like the first, like I was saying, first project I really have done. Like trying to get serious, tell a side of something that normally doesn't get talked about. We kind of just like blindly look at it, especially like as a collector. I collect some stuff. No one likes to talk about that because who wants to think that what they're doing is wrong? Not that I'm saying things are wrong. That's the other thing. I know you, Phil, had told me, like I'm selling everything. I'm done.
I'm not
quit.
selling everything.
But you're not the only one. So many people have messaged me after this came out a couple weeks ago that like, I'm selling my collection. I'm done collecting.
I mean, it was just some of the stuff I have in boxes that I don't have room to put together. Like, why am I going to hold on to those?
Right. Thank you,
yeah,
Matt.
I'm so
really, really appreciate that.
focused on my medieval village that there's not room for anything else.
Mm-hmm. So it's just more of like prioritizing your collection. Sometimes it can get out of control. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. I had something I was going to say. What do you keep pushing?
I'm trying to send it, but
it's not working. Phil's crying.
I was trying not to. I mean, it's just, plays the heartstrings.
I mean, that was kind of the goal. I really want people to look within themselves by hearing, somebody else's story. Thank you, Jesse. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, please leave them below. I'll answer them all. I've got some insight and some random behind-the-scenes stuff I was going to talk about, as well as talk more about this big project. What's up, Mom? She says, I'm curious to have you heard from his family about the video? Their thoughts. So that was the question you just asked a couple minutes ago. And so he doesn't have a lot of family that I'm aware of, but the one that I do know, his name is Willie. It's his nephew, and I shared it with him before I released it publicly, and he said it was beautiful and he loved it. So I'm assuming he shared it with his family. So, hey Kathleen, how's it going? So as of right now, all I know is their family loved it and everything's good to go. Because that's another thing I was worried about. I didn't really want to do that. I don't want to just make fun of people. That's not what the goal of it was. Jordan says, I'm not crying, you're crying. Yeah, I'm also contemplating selling off most of my collection. Yeah, there's so many people have been telling me this. I'm like, that's not the message here.
Well, I mean, it is kind of them receiving the message when they're like, I need to prioritize.
Prioritize, and still collect stuff. That's not what I'm trying to get at, but maybe what you're doing is, you've become consumed and not realized it, and this has become a thing where, like, if you were to take collecting out of your life and that's all you had, I mean, it's really a question you got to ask. Is your big project Toy King related? So that's a funny. So here's the backstory on that. Let's just dive into that. When it was like 5-6 years ago, I approached Phil because we worked together at a Lego store, not the Lego store, but a Lego store, third-party company. Because he told me he had done film stuff over the years and things, and so I said, hey, you want to make a documentary with me? And we're like, sure, let's do it. Let's make a doc about people's collections and going to their house and looking at their stuff and just have a good old time. Then that changed into a web series that was called Toy Kings. And Toy Kings became a YouTube channel, and then it became its own little thing. And then I did a show about going to people's collections. Or I said we did a show. And then that was it. So a couple years ago, back in 2018, I think it was now, wanted to make a documentary again. And so I was resurrecting the original idea of the Toy King show and make it a feature film, essentially. So if that answers your question. So kind of. Roberta says, outside the box, it's heartbreaking, but yes, definitely. In the collector's corner, it's a jabs at their mentality. For sure. Bill!
I'm so sorry. I thought I turned that off.
No, it's okay. Yeah, no, nobody likes to be, told that what they're doing is wrong. That's not what I'm saying as well. It's not, you're the only one that knows that answer. And don't let anyone else tell you that. But, doesn't mean you shouldn't take into consideration other people's thoughts and opinions on some things, if that makes sense too. But don't ever do anything what people tell you to do. You know, if you love doing something, continue to do it as long as it's, you know, legal. Don't be going out there doing, you know, illegal things. I do not condone any acts of illegalness. So, but yeah, I know some people that some close friends of mine. I definitely won't name any names, but if you take collecting out of their vocabulary, they wouldn't have anything. That was it. That's it. Their life revolves around toys, and that's great. It makes them happy. That's awesome. Maybe if somebody had talked to them or just watched this right here and let them find out on their own that maybe they don't realize they're prioritizing something that doesn't mean as much as to them as they think. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
You know? And because I know a lot of people, like I say, I own my store for quite some time, and I witnessed so many people, like literally like crazy stories. Like a guy had a girlfriend, and his girlfriend was like, "You need to sell some of your stuff. It's taking over the house," you know, and he wouldn't. So they broke up. Guess what he had to do? He had to sell most of his stuff just to get a new place. He lost his girlfriend and his stuff over toys. It's like, in that case, in my opinion, that's where it goes too far. A nice disclaimer, yes. I know I should have like one of those legal jargons that just like scrolls through the screen real fast. Don't condones, yeah. But so yeah, that's really the message. Like, maybe you should question some things. Like, if you have a significant other that doesn't like what you're doing, like, is it worth losing them over? Because I've definitely have seen that too. Where at my store, people have told me, I just broke up my girlfriend. She, you know, got mad and threw my toy out, you know, like in the garbage or done something. It's like, forget her. Toys are worth more to me. It's like, really? I don't know. It's just something I've always thought to myself. I'm like, so like, I should do something. So that's where the documentary came into play. And then I was getting that going and decided to create a like a Blu-ray collection of Toy Kings content, the stuff that never aired, stuff that never. I guess I don't have to be on you. Is that what you don't have
I know. What do I do, Chris? I'm just staring blindly. Like, get the camera off me.
So there you go. You're welcome. Now you can go back to wherever you're at. He's sitting there, and now he's like, ooh.
Oh, okay. I don't know what to do. I just like.
Here you go. Now it's just you. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So I was making a Blu-ray collection of like archive Toy King stuff that just never went anywhere. Phil and I did some commentaries of a couple episodes, and I was gonna put it together on a disc and then just sell it to raise some money for the big project. And doing that, this documentary was born. This one slowly came to be, and you can actually kind of see the stop and end point of where the original project of that kind of happened. It was really originally just going to be us going to the storage unit, talking about it, and kind of being done. No explanation of Jose, because he would have already seen his episode. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to make it a thing now. And so I just kind of snowballed from there, added stuff at the beginning, middle, end, called Jason, got him involved, and here it is. And it's so, like, I think it turned out really, really well. Very scary, I was super nervous to release it. I've never been nervous about releasing something before until this.
Well, yeah, we really didn't add much. All of it was just done with footage we already shot, and all we did was each interview, and that was it.
That was it, yeah. So where you see Phil and I on the same background, that is the original video.
Yeah.
We're just going to talk about it briefly, and then it'll be done. And then went from there. Caesar says, Chris, was the documentary a part of why you don't have a store anymore, or were there any other circumstances? So yes and no. There was a few reasons why I sold the store. What I mentioned in this documentary about Jose is true. Like, I just wasn't. Well, I mean, I was cut out for it. I won't say that, but I was just put in positions where I was constantly having to just not care about other people's, you know, feelings, because like I've been saying, like, there's people that toys, like, I can't see them, but I got some stuff laying around here because I've been shooting some videos. Toys mean everything to them, and you gotta tell them, like, oh, it's worthless, I'm gonna give you $1, and then try and sell it for $200. It's like, I'm not that. I can't do it. What?
I was just laughing.
Oh, Jordan says, I definitely like and get the message, but I feel like kind of got out of hand and just have a lot of unnecessary things. Yeah. It's easily done in this world, and so hopefully this helps. But going back to a little bit of what Caesar was saying, the reason I sold the store, one was a lot of personal things were going on in my life during that time, and so I just kind of wanted to reset. Also, the store, I was like, I just wanted to get out into the world and meet people and share their stories. I wanted to get into filmmaking. I was already kind of doing that with the store, but I was tied to the store. Couldn't really go anywhere. And so I thought about taking on a partner and just kind of letting them run the day-to-day and whatnot. So real quick, Kathleen says, pro tip, don't stress the guest. Oh, yeah. He was a guest. He's kind of become a regular now. So,
I think she's talking about the store.
No, the guest. You're the guest.
Oh.
Because she's probably commenting on when the camera was just on you like it is now. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of a little bit of why I sold it. There's some other reasons that I'm not ready to be public about. Maybe one day I'll share it. But as of right now, I won't go public. Roberto says, I updated my comments just for this page. Now they're smaller on my screen, so I have to almost squint. To him it wasn't worth much, but when he had his collection, he had plenty to talk about to fellow collectors, which probably why he made important in his lives. Well, the thing is about Jose, that's sound logic. That's super insightful, and I totally agree under normal circumstances. But with Jose, it's really sad to say. But I do know for a fact that he really didn't have many people in his life. He was kind of, alone. So that's probably why he collected the stuff and it meant so much to him. But he didn't have really anyone else to go to share his stuff with. He has nephew and a couple other people, but not very many people that were into this type of world. So that's where my store came into play. And it's one thing I do miss about having the store was I was a place where people could come and hang out that didn't have anywhere else to go. They had nowhere else to talk to. The classic stereotype of, that guy in his 40s living in his mom's basement. I had those people. Those it's a real thing. Those people would come into my store, and they were very open about the fact that they never moved out of their parents' house, and that, hey, whatever works for them. But they didn't have anywhere else to go to talk to about that stuff. And so Jose would come to my store, and we got close in that regard. And so that's another reason why I wanted to make this project, because he passed away, and that's the end of his story. That was it. Why not give him a solid ending to his life, and leave a message that helps other people. So that's kind of a little bit in the psyche of what's going on with the reason of making it. The other side of making it is because I want to get people a little insight of what I'm trying to do with my filmmaking, I guess. And the reason I want to make this bigger project, it's not going to be something, oh, here's a YouTube video, like, comment, subscribe. It's not. It's going to be taken very, very seriously. Roberto says he had you. That was problem enough, maybe. Problem? I don't know if like I was his drug dealer, because I'd get that all the time. I get people
dealing that plastic crack.
Plastic crack. It's a real thing. People joke about it, but it's a legitimate thing. And that's another topic that I talk about in the main project that I'm working on. We have actually got the chance to film some of it already. This is going to be a very long project as far as making it, because COVID has definitely not helped it.
A lot. Completely.
Pretty much. Well, originally it was already set to be made. I should have had it done by now, but I lost funding for it, which wasn't even much. I only needed a little bit for travel costs to get to these places. Had people lined up for it. You guys probably already know that story. But I resurrected it this year because I was like, it's got to do it. Got to do it. Been wanting to do this forever. So when I was in New Jersey with Phil for a job, we were able to sneak away and film a couple stuff.
Probably, not probably.
Oh, probably, yeah. Like, that's not a problem. Yes, probably. So yeah, we were able to sneak out and film a little bit. I really wanted to not focus on the pop culture aspect of collecting. I really want to focus on... Here, I'll cut off of you. He's like, woo!
Just stare at the camera.
I don't want to leave you out of it, man. So I don't want to focus on the pop culture aspect of it. It's something that I have my foot in, like all the way in, I should say. It's my world. It's what I know. But I really want to focus just on collecting, just that, like what people collect. But I really, really don't want to necessarily see what they collect. Definitely want to show it off, But I want to get in here and find out why people collect. And I've gotten some crazy, awesome answers already, and we've only shot a couple things. So that is going to be coming. Well, who knows when that'll eventually be finished, but I'll be giving you guys updates whenever I can. We are attempting to make this a plan next month to hit the road. How you doing, Yanni? I'm cutting back to you. There you are. We are planning to hit the road from Vancouver, Washington, or I guess I should start saying Portland. People know where that's at. Portland down to San Diego, and then there's a very special individual that I'm dying to meet for many, many years. It's over in Las Vegas.
Oh, no, we're hitting Vegas. I want to.
So drive over there and then probably back up to us. We might as well just go to Vegas first and come back, because we are going to be doing it in November. And last year I did a road trip to Los Angeles in the end of November, and it was horrible. So because of weather, we're going to have to go a different route this time, which won't be a big deal. But Vegas is the only place where it'll be an issue of we'll be we're backtracking a little bit to avoid nasty weather. But anyway, so the collector's mind is kind of up in the air. I have some stretch goals of what I want to be able to do with it. Got cut off of you again, so there you go. I want to either make it just a full-length feature, so like an hour and a half or so project, but I'm definitely keeping in the realm of maybe like a 3 or 4 part series, documentary series. That would be so cool, because what I want to do, there's so much content for it, and there's so much story that I want to tell. So those are the two avenues I'm going down. Worst case, it's just going to be a big, long feature-length deal, which is going to be cool. It's not going to be taken lightly. I've already done, when was it? Back in January. Remember when I did that big, huge live sale event, sold a bunch of stuff, raised some money for my company back here, which unfortunately got put on brief pause for COVID, unfortunately. But I already bought all the stuff. I spent most of the money on the stuff for the company, which also in turn lets me go create whatever I want. So I'll be able to up the quality of it and get it out on streaming platforms. That's the goal too. Netflix, unfortunately, is out of the running because the stuff I need for that is very expensive. But Amazon and I think Hulu, I can actually get some stuff out on. So that'll be pretty fun and easy to do, hopefully. Maybe, we'll see. But Netflix is the end goal after this, because I have a feeling once I get this big one out, maybe I can start pitching it to some people to get some bigger people behind it and get more exposure and allow some investors into the project to make it even bigger. Yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea. Thoughts, Phil? Comments?
No, you pretty much nailed it.
Yeah.
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 So.
Any questions, guys? Anything you want to know a little bit more about the making of this? We kind of already talked about it. Jason's little interview was kind of not necessarily the last minute, but it was a last minute idea. Well, thank you, Stacy. Really appreciate that. Jason is a really, really, really cool guy. He lived here in Vancouver, Washington. I always have to say that because no one knows what I'm talking about. They think I'm in Canada. But he lived here, and then he, shortly after that, moved to Dallas. Actually, what I am going to plan on doing is I'm going to be releasing his full conversation as a podcast, because there's so much good stuff that he had to say that I just couldn't put in here because it was too long. I had to make cuts, and it was so hard to choose what to put in there. He had such good insight, so I'm going to be releasing that as a podcast, probably over on the Patreon page or something. Not 100% sure just yet, but I'll announce that when I get there, when the time comes. But yeah, I think that's about it, Phil. What about you? Got any thoughts you want to say or talk about?
It feels weird in my mouth.
Oh, he's metalhead Phil right now.
Metal mouth.
Metal mouth, metal head, metal face.
They're still new, and it's takes I'm getting used to. I'm trying not to lift.
Do you think after collectors have watched this doc that it will affect how they are portrayed in their next doc series? What do you mean? Oh, like me coming out and interviewing them? Is that what you mean by that, Roberto?
Do you think?
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe. If that's what you're asking, then yeah, I think so. Hey, we got Paco in the house. What's up, Paco? Got the dog. Yeah, maybe, because I already had a bunch of people like I said, message me about after like watching this, and they're like changing the way they think about, you know, their stuff from the shelves, and asking the question like, do I even need this? Is this something like I actually need, or should I just get rid of it? So maybe. So I'm gonna say yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So maybe that's the answer that I'm giving. That's all I really, I guess, can say, because no one knows for sure. No one's gonna.
It's hard to say because I mean we've only filmed a few people.
Yeah.
It's like
we got so many people. Well,
and the thing with like documentary filmmaking, it's like you have a general idea how the story's gonna go, but you like have all this footage, and then you're just like tossing away all the footage you're not using, and you kind of reveal the story later.
Yep.
So like even like we have a direction, but that doesn't mean like that's how it's gonna end up.
Yeah. No.
There's gonna be like we already have probably 5 or 6 hours just from the stuff we shot from New York, and there's no way we're gonna use all of it. So it's just like, I mean, it's hard to say for sure.
Oh yeah, nobody knows. Some of it may not even make it at all. I don't like wasting footage, so I usually tell people, like, when I interview them, it'll be released in some regard. It just may not be in the actual project that I originally told him that it's going to be in. He'll probably release it either like as a bonus thing or as his own video itself. Because I really don't like just shooting something and just throwing it away, because usually it was something worthwhile. I'm glad I saved Jose's stuff, because I almost deleted that storage unit day. I was like, there's nothing here. There's nothing.
I mean,
what can I do with
5
this?
years, like
2017.
Okay,
so 3 years. So like, yeah, I didn't. And this also shows of like how much I've come along as a storyteller too, because I wouldn't have seen this type of angle back then. It's just not where I was at the time. When you were doing a live conversation video chat, you were just talking to the laptop. Correct. So I just did a Zoom call with Jason and just recorded it. It was a little bit of a challenge to edit, because the reason I didn't talk too much is because every sound I make, it was in conference mode, so it switched to me. I couldn't get it to stay on Jordan or on Jason, so that's why I had to like not talk too much, because it was just like cut away from him, or if he was talking over me, like I had to make some weird cuts. Otherwise, you would see this crappy webcam on me. That's why I wanted to at least have one good shot, because I knew Jason's was going to be not great. But I wasn't gonna let that stop me from like put it out there. I used to do that. I was like, it wasn't gonna be good footage. Not even gonna bother. Like, no.
I think there's more.
No one cared.
In, like, documentary filmmaking opposed to like feature filmmaking.
Yeah, I didn't get into actually making my first stuff until like I had the idea in my head. I'm not gonna do it until it's perfect. That's impossible. You can't get perfect, which literally you can't. But you can't even start to get perfect unless you start making something now. It's just impossible. Regardless of what it is, you're not going to get good at it until you try it. I meet so many people who are like, oh, I'm going to start YouTube, but I need to learn everything first. Well, that's not going to work. It's just
do it.
Yeah, you just have to start, and it's going to be crap. It's just the way it is. But most people aren't going to care. You're the only one that's going to care about the quality. And so, like Jason's interview, yeah, it wasn't good quality, but not one person left a comment saying that was bad interview quality. They're like, whoa, his insight, whoa, his conversation is like, whoa.
What he was saying was so in-depth.
Yeah, it didn't matter. So it was a little bit of a challenge for me to shoot that, but I thought it came out pretty good. I thought so.
I think so too. So.
Shot that right in my little bunker. No, it's not really a bunker. Crow's nest. Kind of elevated. One day, it'll be a bunker. Well, not bunker. I don't want a bunker. One day, I got an awesome idea for a studio build out. This almost. You're ready to start some shit with supposed to be present. It was just supposed to be like, hey, we're in New York. Here's some epic shots. It really wasn't supposed to be anything other than just that.
No, yeah, we were just checking out toy shops in New York.
Yeah, I knew I was going to use it for something. Didn't necessarily know 100%
There's
what.
two I didn't get to go to that I wanted to. I can't remember the name of them, but
There's some anime ones.
ones that we didn't get to go. They were closed, too far away.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, we go maybe next time. Well, I have to go back next week. But I won't go. Not to New York, New Jersey. I won't be going to New York. I don't think I'm brave enough to do it by myself. It was scary. Yeah. Didn't have New York Jose to... I always refer to him as New York Jose. To show us around, unfortunately. But we at least got to go. At least got to finally make it there.
It was a coincidence with, like, we were there, like, on his birthday and, like, a week after we filmed his first episode.
Yeah. And then I meant to text you, but a couple days ago, I got one of those Facebook memories saying, like, 4 years ago, it was 4 years ago, we released his episode. Just like weird, like it's like all come around the same.
Yeah, I think it's the third one in the series, but it was the first one we shot or filmed.
You can kind of see it also in that his episode that we did. It was originally supposed to be a documentary, so we kind of were shooting it more documentary-like, and it evolved into a web series. So after that, everyone was a little different. Hey, what's up, Dr. Elo? What's going on, man? What's going on? Oh, another thing, guys, if you're just joining in and you didn't get to watch the documentary, you can check it out on YouTube, or if you prefer to watch it here on Facebook, I will be releasing it probably later tonight or in the morning to watch as by itself. Otherwise, you can just go back in the video and watch it here. This is just the little Q&A behind the scenes and a little insight into the making of it and also what's coming next. The Collector's Mind. That's the next project, the big boy one. One day it'll get out there. COVID has not been kind in that regard, but we are still plugging away.
Trucking on.
We're still trying to make it happen. And if you guys are in our path that we're going to be taking next month, we're going to be driving down from Portland, Oregon, down to San Diego, and then over to Las Vegas. So if you're in those areas, let us know if you'd like to be featured in the documentary. I'll be doing an official announcement of that soon, actually, because that needs to be done soon in enough time. Doing great, Fran. I'll be sure to check it out. Awesome. Thank you. Very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. So cool. Roberto says, was it just sad songs with Jose? Did you have anything positive? Oh. Wait, what do you mean? Like sad stories? I think
just like, yeah.
Is that what you mean?
I think so, yeah.
Well, so it's one of those things where, like when people like your strengths or your weaknesses type of thing, I think that's the angle I was taking with this. It's a sad story, but it's also a good story in a way because you learn something from it, right? I think that's how it should be done. Great. Oh yeah, right. You gotta love autocorrect. Stacy says, totally keeping an eye out on your future endeavors. Thank you so much, Stacy. That's so cool. I really appreciate it. I have something semi lined up for New Orleans. I gotta get some more people to make it like really worth it because there's one person I'm kind of in contact with. It's a friend of a friend that I'm going through right now. But we're hoping to try and hit the whole country. Just travel around, find some interesting stories, good stories, and also maybe some bad stories. Jose's, again, remember, like I was talking about in the project, good and bad, and so, he could maybe make a little bit different decisions, and hopefully that, again, like you guys can learn, take that away and learn something from it. So I want to hear more stories like that, but I also want to see how collecting has impacted your life on a positive or just a different, outcome. Because there was somebody else had lined up, but with the original documentary got completely canned. There you go. Feel better? I got completely just canned and shelved in a matter of 20 minutes. And one of the people that I was going to have on the doc was these two best friends that took their collecting habits and opened a business. So now that they, sold action figures and toys, remember the Lost Toys?
Yeah.
They closed. They decided to close up shop like last year. And so right when I was about to shoot the project, they were going to be in it. They decided to close up shop. But I want to hear stories like that, where how you guys have collected stuff, but in a way that has been positive. Just interesting stories. People, or just interesting individuals with outcomes of collecting. I miss visiting NOLA. Oh, New Orleans. or Nolans, as the people like to say. If you're local, Nolans. I know that phrase. I was down in Hurricane. You knew that one, right?
Utah.
Yeah, Hurricane.
Hurricane. Yeah,
That's how you say it. It's actually on the map. It says Hurricane.
I was
Utah,
saying,
but it's Hurricane. Hurricane.
Hurricane.
I never heard one person.
It's
say
like
that.
30 miles, I think, east of
Vegas.
Not Vegas, but
Hurricane is, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were thinking Utah, Salt Lake. It's where is it?
It's
what's that stupid that national park?
Yeah, Zion.
Yes, there you go.
Hurricane is in it. It's like right there.
Oh, it's right outside.
Because it's south. It's south Utah, which I wanted to go to like a month ago.
Yeah, Zion's been my favorite national park so far. It has
Zion's beautiful,
dude. Oh, it's amazing.
Amazing.
And then lucky I was doing a road trip from Austin to Portland. 8 years ago now, 7 years ago. It's hard to say, but we were just hitting all the national parks on the way, and then we're gonna skip Utah because there's like nothing. There's like just no place for us to stay. Like all the camping sites were booked and everything. And then one of my friends from college was like, "Hey, Phil, my dad's like the national ambassador for Zion National Park. You just stay with them." And I was like, "What?" So he called his parents. He was living in St. Louis at the time. He was like, "Hey, my friend from college is gonna come over with his buddy and stay the night." So they put us up for like 2 nights and 3 days and just like showed us the park, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
so having the ambassador to Zion National Park tell you which hikes to do is,
yeah,
it's just lucky. Like I don't know,
lucky. I barely got to go
luck out
there.
like that a lot.
I only got to go in there for a minute, and I technically broke the law because I flew a drone in the park, and I guess you're not supposed to.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
I didn't know that, but I did.
They don't let you drive up the canyon anymore. They have like a monorail, like a bus system. You just go like take a bus and just drop you off at the hikes you want to do.
Mm-hmm. We should probably we're getting comments from Roberto to move on. We did. I'm moving on. I'll catch you. Oh, he's moving on. Right. See you later, Roberto. Yeah. We're wrapping up anyway. Yeah. We're getting ready. Thank you. We're wrapping up now. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any more questions, please feel free to comment on the video. I'll be more than happy to answer questions. If you guys haven't already, follow the page. I would really, really appreciate that too. I got a lot of fun stuff coming. Outside of these bigger projects, I release some smaller stuff, regular type content, like weekly content. I've got a Halloween special coming. That's why the set back here is all set up. Spooky. Some fun. I think it's going to be pretty fun. You make an appearance in one of them.
Oh, God, I hope not.
And it's when we went over to Danny's and shot that stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's only a picture of you.
Okay.
I can't remember. But you do. You think you talk. So you make an appearance. You're in it. But we got some fun stuff on the way. So be on the lookout for that. And also a special little thing. It's all Stranger Things themed. Mostly. So it's going to be fun. That'll be coming out in a couple weeks. So be on the lookout for that. And any other final comments or nothing?
No,
okay, cool. Yeah. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. It really, really means a lot. Hopefully you guys liked the documentary. And I'll see you soon. Bye.